Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this session of MFiles Quick Tips as we get started with the Christmas season upon us. This is user settings 2 of 2 inside of MFiles. So last month, I covered user settings 1. What I want to do is just take a moment and go through some of those things that were covered. In that first session, what I did is I covered the Home tab, where you can actually control, when you go into MFiles, what the landing page is inside of MFiles. You also got to control your default tab, meaning that when you were viewing an object, it normally goes to the last setting you had, whether you had metadata card with a preview or just the metadata card. But you can control that and force it to always give you the same. Notification settings, those are actually pretty nice, where you can actually control your notifications that come in. And this is dealing with workflow as well as assignments, and if you are tracking a document change. Substitute users gave you the chance to actually go in and apply somebody to pick up your workflow duties when you're on vacation. Language change, very simple. There's multiple languages available inside of the MFiles interface. Obviously, you need to translate the documents inside. The good thing about doing these quick tips is we are recording all of them. They are available on the Marco YouTube site. And if you take a look at this, when you go to YouTube, the best way to find us is to actually go into YouTube and then at the very top, type in MFiles space Marco. What you will see is the MFiles quick tips here. And let me just show you what that actually looks like. Let's see here. There you go. So I'm inside of YouTube here, and when I do that search, it will actually take you to show you some of those playlists. And you can scroll down and you can see there's some quick tips here, and there's that user settings 1 of 2. So very easy to find us there. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to be covering today. We're going to talk about how to use MFiles for the mobile. And basically what I mean, there's a setting in that user settings that help direct you to the correct location for where your MFiles information resides. Shared with me, you can actually share information from MFiles to somebody that might be outside of your company that does not have access to MFiles. When you're going on a long trip and you need to take some files with you from MFiles, you can actually select those files to go offline. So when you go offline with MFiles, meaning no internet connection, those files are available for you to make changes to. Log out, a very important step, especially if you're working with multiple licenses. External repositories. This is where MFiles really starts to shine, starts to combine some of those extra areas where you're storing information. It could be SharePoint, it could be the network folders, or etc. A new thing that got added here is joining the MFiles research panel. Let's actually dig into this. Okay, so inside of MFiles, and I have mine open here, the first item we want to talk about is that mobile code. And in the past, you used to have to know the vault that you needed to go to, and you have to put in all that HTTP, and then you had to put in that long address and get all that stuff. What MFiles has done is they simplified it. So when you come up here to your user profile, click once, here's what we're focusing on, and you'll see one that says use with a mobile, MFiles mobile. When I click that, it generates a QR code that is unique to your vault. Pretty cool. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are aware with your mobile device, when you go to the camera mode, you can actually scan this and it will open up that site. Now, you'll have a couple things going on there. It will try to open up the mFiles web browser. So it will also let you know if you want to download the app, it will be a more efficient use of the mFiles system. Pretty cool. I'm going to click on the X to close that. We'll go back here and we're going to take a look with shared with me, or excuse me, shared by me. Okay, we have a couple different things that are actually out here. And it's pretty cool that you can see what you've actually shared. Now, I'm going to show you how to create a new one as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click close here. I'm going to go to one of my documents and we're going to pick this marketing plan. So when I select the marketing plan, I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to say share down here at the bottom. Now there's a couple different ways that you can actually share. So if it's internal, obviously you can send out a link. If it's external, which I'm going to be focusing on, we can actually create a public link. When I click on that, it brings up this screen. Now here I can add a brief description. Notice though it automatically put in an expiration date. Obviously you can change this as needed. Okay, this is going to our external marketing company. So we've got some ideas for marketing next year, but they're not in the company, they're external. So I'm going to be sharing the document with them. All I have to do is click on create a public link and voila, it created a link. Now down at the bottom, I could copy this link for email purposes or send it IM or through Teams, a couple different methods. I'm going to click close. Now when I go back up here to shared by me, I can see that I have those documents shared. Now, the really nice thing with this is that your system administrator at mFiles can see everything that somebody may have shared. So there's always some safeguards. So at any time, the system administrator can close out any of those shared documents as well. Obviously, your mFiles would need access to the internet for this to work. That would also hold true for that mobile application also. I'm going to click close here. Let's move on to our next item. And that is working offline. Now, before I go offline, what you want to do is you want to select the documents that you want to work with offline. So I actually have 3 documents over here. I've got a vendor invoice, a marketing plan, and a application. We got James T. Kirk applying for a job. What I can do is I can right click on the document and I can go to offline availability. By selecting mark for offline availability, it's going to put that document in a special area so that when I go offline, that document will sync to give me the latest version. Let's say I want to edit the document when I'm offline. You can do that, but let's say I don't want anybody to make changes, well, to the document when I'm offline. If that is true, what you would want to do is make the document offline. So we did that, get a confirmation screen. Now what I'm doing before I go offline is I'm going to actually check out that document. When you check out a document in mFiles, nobody else can make edits to it until you check it back in. So now if I go up here and I go offline, MFiles confirms. I say yes. So now I'm in the offline mode. I can go back online in the upper right-hand corner. Now, the really cool thing here is we take a look of my documents that are available offline through this view. I have one document that I've checked out. I have other documents that I have not. So if I go into the checked out, there's my James T. Kirk for me to make edits. If I go back to mark for offline, I have my marketing plan as well, so that I can review that and think about what else I may want to add to that. Now, if I make a change to that marketing plan that I did not check out, and somebody else made a change to it, MFiles will warn me that the document has been changed when I go online. And that's as simple as up here, clicking on Go Online. And you would get a warning screen in the middle of your screen letting you know that there were changes. And what it gives you the opportunity to do is actually save your changes as a copy so that you can compare the changes and update the document appropriately. Let's go over to our user settings. Taking a look at external repositories. I currently have none. This is where MFiles would be connecting to different sources that you want to search with inside of MFiles. So for example, you could get a connector for your network folders. Maybe you store a lot of documents there along with MFiles. So inside of MFiles, if you had that connector, you would be able to search, and it would also search your network folders. Pretty cool. You could also have a connector for SharePoint for 2 examples. If you're interested in what connectors are available for MFiles, please contact your sales representative for more information. I'm going to click close. I'm going to go up here again. And finally, we have joined the MFiles User Research Panel. What this allows you to do is become part of the people that shape the next version of MFiles. That's pretty cool. Now, before you register, you want to scroll down and make sure you understand what they're actually looking for. Pretty cool. And then all you have to do is register. Now, that doesn't mean they're automatically going to start pulling information from you. They will contact you and let you know if you would want to be part of a panel that they have coming up. Maybe it's dealing with how the interface looks, or maybe it's dealing with workflow inside of MFiles, just for example. And then you would get that information. Now, this is the end of my presentation. Let me go back to our slides here. And I want to open it up for any questions. And did we get any questions come in, Tracy?
Yeah, there are 2 here. The first one, it appears when the customer tried to use the QR code for the mobile, it did not bring them to any site that was active. Is there a process that happens prior to that in order for the mobile to work?
Great question. So basically, if you scan that QR code and nothing really happened, or it didn't take you anywhere, more than likely your MFiles is not open to the internet. When we initially set up MFiles for our customers, we ask that question. If they want it open to the internet, we make it available. If they want it closed off, we leave it closed off. So if you are not getting any response from that QR code, I would recommend contacting your MFiles system administrator or IT to see if MFiles can be made available to the internet. Great question. Did that answer that?
It did. Thank you, Dave. And the last question in queue currently is about just overall usage of MFiles. It sounds like we have a new user that came on board with one of the companies. Can you give any tips on where they can start to understand what mFiles is about?
Great. Yes, we offer a couple different ways to do that. In the mFile system, there's always help available. So please be aware of that. And that can be accessed by your Alt key. You have help up here. You also have help in the upper right-hand corner as well. The other things that are offered is we at Marco offer an introductory training class to assist you in training new employees. Also, mFiles has available an academy which provides some courses for you to learn more about mFiles. And the really cool thing with the academy is if you have a certain type of license in mFiles, and I believe it is the team license, you may already have access to the academy because it's included with for free with that license. And you can see all the different courses that you would be able to go through and access. If you need assistance in getting access to your academy, please send an email to software@marconet.com and we can help you with deciding which one of those choices would be best. Also, getting into that academy. I had a couple questions on this end as well, Tracy. We had one from Wendy here. Is there a way to share a spreadsheet among a small group of people that can all edit this spreadsheet? Now, the method that I showed you, when you go up to that share, they would be able to actually download and make changes. Now, what would happen to that is they would have to email it back to you to update mFiles, since they would not be able to save it back into mFiles. And basically, whoever has that link would be able to download and make edits to that. Is that what you were looking for, Wendy? And you can give me a thumbs up if that answered your question. The other thing that Wendy did ask here is to share the spreadsheet among internal users. And yes, that can actually be done as well. And that's basically with the, if we go into, let me see if I can pick a document here. So if I go into my marketing plan, and down here at the very bottom, you actually can control the access that people have. So if you have a situation where you're adding a brand new document, you could actually control who you would want to give access to be able to see it, be able to read it, or potentially make changes. Great. I see that answered those questions. Is there any other questions that came in, Tracy?
I have not seen any, Dave.
Perfect. Okay. Let's get back here inside of our presentation. Our next quick tips is going to be in the year 2024. Yeah, it's hard to believe. January already. January 16th is the next one. And that's going to be talking about version history inside of mFiles. So that will cover things like being able to look back and see what the other versions look like, as well as performing something called a rollback. And I'll explain that more in that next quick tip, January 16th. The QR code that you see on your screen, when you scan it, will take you to the Marco page for registering for our webinars as well as our quick tips. At the end of today's session, there will be an evaluation. Please provide your feedback to let us know how we can make our webinars and our quick tips better. On behalf of myself, as well as Marco, I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and thank you for attending today's session. Goodbye.